All I get is a headache. Maybe this book will help. Stick around. Old man Grognard here, and the day has come. People thought I would never review something like this because of my views on the subject, but I'm going to anyway, for various and sundry reasons, which I'll get into. What I'm talking about is the Basic Psionics Handbook by Richard J. LeBlanc Jr. for New Big Dragon Games. This was published in 2015. It's a 58-page book. It makes psionics palatable. Now, I have reasons for not liking psionics that go beyond the system. The fact that I don't think it's appropriate for high fantasy. I think it competes with magic too much. I went from actually hating it to disliking it because I understand that there are certain genres it works. Dark Sun. Anything techno magic type stuff, it works. So psionics has a place, just not in mainstream. I would use it very, very, judiciously. Also, when I was, growing up with D&D, not only were psionics hard to use for some reason, we're talking like all the way back to first edition. It didn't get any better. Plus, the people who did understand how psionics work were into the power trip thing because nobody else could do it. So that's basically some of my beefs about psionics. But I've got to say, this book, I buy it. I do. I really do. This is a 58-page book by New Big Dragon Games. It's for putting psionics into BX Basic. You can use it with any edition, actually. But that's what it's mainly geared for. It says right here, for use with BX or Labyrinth Lord editions. I can use this with the World Cyclopedia or Holmes or whatever. But it's once again, New Big Dragon, they put out great stuff. And Richard J. LeBlanc actually makes it palatable and kind of easy to understand. Although I do have at least one quibble about it, but we'll get to that later. Basically, he takes psionics and brings it back to like the mystical origins of things like chakras. And there are 7 chakras in the game. There's the root, sacral, plexus, heart, throat, third eye, and crown. It's basically going from foot to head, third eye. Crown only happens if you go beyond the mortal plane and you're in like God territory, deity territory stuff. They're very, very popular. Or extraordinary circumstances, things like that. And those 7 chakras are broken out to major and minor psionic powers, which are called, majors are called devotions, minors are called sciences. And everything costs PSPs to use in here. Psychic points, basically. So some of you may be familiar with that from previous editions. They also give you 2 classes in here, the Mystic and the Monk. Now the Mystic, the first thing I think of is Real Cyclopedia, which is their kind of version of the Monk. And it doesn't really get into this, but they sort of separated the two in this. Now the Mystic in this book is more of a psionicist type character. But unlike the second, this is one thing I didn't like about second edition psionics is they made the psionicist class. And it's like, are you going to go around telling people you're a psionicist as opposed to a fighter or a mage or, the equivalent? I mean, hi, I'm a 3rd level mage. I'm a 2nd level fighter. But, you're not going to go around like that. But I mean, people see you're a warrior or you're a magic man or something, or this guy got to be careful. He's a thiefly type of thing. But hi, I'm a psionicist. So what else do you do? I'm a psionicist. But the Mystic actually backs it up with things like, orders, and they're actually mystic men. They're like seers and things like that. I don't get the impression on here. Well, I'll get to that in a minute. Let me go on to the monk. The monk, I like it because he's still kick-ass like the other versions of the monks with the martial arts and stuff, but they give it a grounding in mysticism here. They can do psionic stuff too, but at a not as well as a mystic. Mystic devotes itself to it, but the monks kind of take the psionic mental abilities and devote them mostly into like physical discipline and the warrior, not really warrior, but I mean, that kind of thing. It's more of a monk monastery Eastern type of thing. And the mystics are more, I don't know, Middle East, Indian type of thing, I would guess. I mean, they have their own, and and it seems like they're the only ones who can be psionic. Unless you want to, I'm sure there's a way, they didn't really say it here, but I'm sure there's a way you can do that with other classes, multi-classing, whatever, but there are 2 classes in here that use it well. Now the powers, or I should say disciplines, are, like I said, the 6 plus the crown that you don't have access to. Then they have a chat. Well, let me show you the book. Let me show you what the book looks like. Very beautiful. Okay, here's one of the mystic pages. You can see how they're devoting it back to the chakras and points in the body where this comes from and things, and it goes up level. You learn a discipline as you go up level. This is the monk class tables here. Like I said, they're more into the martial arts thing, using that for the martial, for their martial abilities, and that's a discipline unto itself for them. They're not as powerful as the mystics, but they're strong in other ways. And here's some of the disciplines. These are some of the sciences like astral projection, things like that. Okay, here we go. Psychic combat. I tried to make damn sure that, because they have the disciplines, they have the sciences and the devotions, the disciplines, but then they have psychic combat, which is separate powers, it seems like, that use PSPs also. And when I was thumbing through the disciplines here, the first thing that caught my eye was a discipline called Ultra Blast, which blasts people with psychic energy in a radius. And I'm going, well, how does that work with psychic combat? It doesn't. It's separate from that. It's an effect. These are effects. I mean, you can have weapon effects with the other 2, like living weapon, things like that. But if you're doing psychic combat, you've got attack and defense mode powers, and it's like mind bar and ego whip and fortress of iron will and things like that. They take that separate. And one of the bad things about, to me, psionics in first edition is the fact that it happened outside of combat. It happened outside of what you were doing. Here, he integrates it into the order of combat, because they lump the psionicists in with the spellcasters. Because the first thing, expanded combat sequence. Characters declare spellcasting psionic use. Then it goes to psionic defense modes go into effect. Each side rolls for initiative. Okay, so that happens before anybody rolls for initiative. The side with initiative acts for both sides act simultaneously if the initiative rolls. Morale checks, movement, psionic combats and disciplines, missile fire, magic spells, and melee. Melee is last. So all that magic, all that psionic stuff is wrapped up with the magic stuff. So you can actually fight somebody mind to mind while everybody else is swinging swords and stuff. And as a good DM, I would have that affect each other. That's not a problem with me. So they integrate it within that, which is nice. Because the last thing I want to do is have a bunch of players standing around while two guys do this. Like that. Which is fine. Is fine with me. Okay, let's go on. Here they give you the psionic monsters. Monsters likely use. They give you the new monsters. Not really new, but I mean things like Intellect Devourer there, and Githyanki, and not Githyanki. Yeah, Githyanki, and Mind Threshers, not Mind Flayers, Mind Threshers, same thing. And also they have appendixes, psionics and magic. How they overlap sometimes as far as effect goes, and what they can and can't do with each other, because they said they're like oil and water, and they can't really stack either. So that's kind of you got to make that. And also undead are not affected by psionics whatsoever. That's what it said. Intelligent undead, maybe. You may want to give them a saving throw or something, because I know, there's powerful vampires out there that do psionics. So, kind of if it. Now, okay, my one complaint is the psychic points. Now, I know how this argument can go. My contention is, why do you have a point-based power system alongside a Vancian magic system? Say you're using this in regular D&D. And people can come back and say, well, it's psionics. And I come back and I say, well, it's all the same game. Shouldn't everything work the same? I mean, I don't see why those powers couldn't be, they could take the disciplines and make them either Vancian, or take the magic system and make it point-based. Why do you have to have two separate things in one game? I understand why it is. It's basically conservation of resources. Because magic, if you're doing Vancian magic, conservation of resources, you only get so many spells a day of whatever level. And this is, you only get so many psionic points a day for whatever level. Okay, and you have to choose to spend them. And magic, you have to choose from a list. Now, I'm not saying either one is good or either one is bad, but I'd like them to choose one. Because I know it might be a minor thing, but sometimes it's hard to shift your brain in the middle of running a game or even playing a game. It's, I got PSPs. Okay. What? Oh, okay. Right. I'm throwing a fireball. Right. And you're okay. Fine. I just don't want a separation between what's going on in one corner of the combat and what's going on in the other corner of combat as far as mechanics go, if you understand. Okay? That's my only quibble. Other than that, I could use this. There are certain genres in games, there's certain fantasy games, I'd use this. I would have no problem using this. And this even beats the one I saw in Carcosa, which is basically a spell list with psionic powers. Well, I mean, I guess I could use the Carcosa one with the Vancian magic. But I'd rather use this, because this one's a lot of fun, and it's very well written too. I don't know who the artists are, because they didn't list them, or at least maybe because of my bad eyes I didn't see them. No, playtesting, okay. Got all those. Here it is. Richard J. LeBlanc did the illustrations too. Bravo, sir. And bravo for this. This is a nice addition to your books. Keep churning them out. I want to try and review, if you can get a hold of me, I want to try and review some of your modules sometime. That would be nice if I can get a hold of, Anyway, if you want to talk about it, and you want to send me brickbats or bouquets or anything else like that, just get a hold of me at oldmangrognard@gmail.com. So until next time, bye-bye.